College football is nearly here, and we're blowing out the budget on our coverage of the teams you can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back to Big 12 Media Day coverage here in Frisco, Texas. When you talk University of Utah defense, you're always talking about defensive ends that can get after the quarterback. And we got one right now with us, Lance Holtzclaw, kind enough to join us. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing amazing. How we doing, guys?
We're doing great. You ready to get after quarterbacks this year?
Man, I'm too ready. Too ready.
You know, it's been really fun to see the tradition of Utah defensive ends and the success that's been there. Is that something that attracted you to this program?
100%. You know, when you're sitting here and you're trying to figure out where's your next place you're going to land and you're trying to plan out your future, you're definitely doing your research and looking at the history of a program. And a program that's led by a defensive-minded captain, and sitting here and we go get after it. We send pressure. We send heat. We play really aggressive defense, and that's just what Utah has been known for years on, years out. So it's something that I knew was a no-brainer that I wanted to be a part of, and now I can sit here, be a leader of this type of program that we got going on, man, and we can take this so far.
You're a Massachusetts hometown guy, huh?
Yes, I am.
One of
Boston,
only.
Mass.
That's right, baby. You a Red Sox guy?
Of course.
Dirty water?
Come on.
The whole thing. That's me, baby. I love it. How big a change? Obviously, you went to Washington, and that's a big difference. You went to high school in Arizona, though, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
You've been able to see and feel the heat in the desert. Is a little bit different than Boston. What's the biggest, as you go into the season, what's the biggest difference between what you see from Morgan Scalley as a head coach? Because this is what everybody's asking, right? They're like, can Utah continue to be Utah? And when we talked to Coach Scalley today, first thing he talked about were core values, right? And being resilient, nasty, relentless and nasty, and ball hawking, and all the things he talks about. But in terms of the feel of it, what's the biggest difference?
I mean, the feel of it is great. I mean, the thing about it is that everybody thinks it's going to change. Is like, this is not going to be the same Utah anymore. This is going to be this is that, da-da-da. They're unsure. But you should really be confident. This guy is somebody who's been nothing but a Ute his whole life. You know, so he lives that thing through and through. He doesn't sit here and try to be just like the next person or anything like that. So he has his own spin on things, but, you know, he also keeps things a way that he's comfortable with. But I'd say some of the biggest changes that he's just very open to change and open to looking at different things and improving things and making a lot of actions to improve our program in all different facets, off the field, on the field, when it comes to funding our stuff, when it comes to getting us new equipment, when it comes to getting us new facilities, things like that. You know, it's amazing. But then when you go into the culture piece of things, like you were talking about, all of that he talks about, man, we have this posted all over us all over the time. This RSMB, that relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks, man, that thing breaks down even more and more and more than it does. But it used to be a defensive-minded type of culture of the defense, and now with him going into the head coaching role, he's now taking that culture that's instilled into our defense and making it team-wide. So now the whole team is RSMB. You can be a ball hawk on the offense, and smart, nasty, and relentless still translates to the offense as well, man. So that transition from Scalley going into the head coaching role, it's been a real smooth transition. It's been really good. Guys are gravitating to him, and, you know, it's going to be a great thing moving forward. He's super excited. Has been ready for this.
Tell us about what you did last month. You had to put on a suit, and you went back to D.C., and you testified before the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. Just hearing that, I would have been in panic mode. How did you handle it, and what was that about?
I mean, at the end of the day, man, it was really a fun experience. I mean, like, how many times do you get to hear of student athletes being able to go up on a stand and go and do that, or even have that opportunity presented to them? So first and foremost, it was extremely fun. Let the nerves come down a little bit after a second. I got to see everything the day before, so I kind of knew what type of room I was going to be walking into, and I'm really glad I did. I got in there, super bright lights, whole bunch of important people sitting around too, man, and you're sitting down on the bottom, and they're all up on the top looking down at you talking, so it definitely feels like some pressure, man. But nah, it was good. Once that first opening statement came out, man, it was good. They have a good vibe in the room, and it was a super fun experience.
So what was your purpose in terms of the message that you delivered?
My purpose was to sit there and be a voice for student athletes all over, you know, and give them a perspective on the things that go on in our lives while they're sitting there trying to make decisions on our lives. We got a lot of people making decisions and changing things and rules and regulations for student athletes, and they're not involved in those conversations whatsoever. So it's like, how are we going to make all these decisions and change all these things for people, and they don't even have a say-so in the conversation? And it's not saying that I'm in there picking a side of what to do, what not to do, but ask me questions about the things you're trying to change, and I'll give you my perspective and my experiences on things so you can understand what it's like from a student-athlete's perspective.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I would love to pick your brain on this more. We're getting the wrap-up signal, but
Just got warming up.
I know, right? You're made for media. I know you want to play football for a long, long time, but just know you can make that transition
He's
whenever
a Boston
you're ready.
guy.
Let me know if y'all got some room for me somewhere, man. I'll stay in contact with y'all. We can be right here doing this thing a couple of years down the road.
We'll create a spot for you.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey, Lance, thanks so much, man.
Thank you, guys.
Go Red Sox, my guy.
Man, come on. Dorchester, Boston, Mass.
Dorchester was my area for like 8 months. I was a missionary out there, dude.
Dorchester was my time the whole time, man.
We'll have to talk for a second,
Yes,
find
we
out where
will.
you lived.
All right. It's hard to
Thank
hold
you.
y'all up. Thank you, guys.
Lance Holtzclaw right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Joining us now, Wayshawn Parker, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, University of Utah. Wayshawn, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, doing great. It's good to catch up with you. You're ready to get this season started.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait.
You know, we were talking a lot about that, Morgan feels like obviously there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. But as players, you want to say, like, hey, you know what? We had a lot to do with this as well. I imagine you guys have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, too.
Yes, we always do. Everybody on the team has a chip on their shoulder. Just try to get to their dream. And him coming up and stepping up to that next level, we all had our trust into him. Like, we seen he come up and he was like, okay, we still a team. So everybody just followed right under him.
Interesting season that you had coming over from Washington State. Your position coach, Mark Atawaya, came with you, and a lot of things were expected, and I'm sure you knew full well about Utah running backs. They've had a slew of 1,000-yard rushers going back many, many years, and eventually you got there, but you got off to a slow start, right? And it took you a bit to find your footing. And now I'm thinking, okay, the second part of the season was all about Wayshawn Parker, and the 100-yard game started coming consistently. I'm thinking that you're thinking this starts from game one now.
Yes, it starts from game one. I know I had a slow season coming back up from off an injury this year, and I'm really dedicated. I'm really dedicated myself to prove myself to everybody.
What does this offense look like next year?
Offense, it's pretty nice. It's got deadly weapons. It's going to spook some defenses. Y'all just got to wait to see.
I was around Kevin McGivern. I do Utah State games, so I was around
Okay.
him last year. And the dude's a mad scientist.
Yes.
Like, he's really creative, and I got to imagine that's fun from your perspective.
It's very fun. Like, we got weapons on the team that, like, if you want to sit there and fill up the box, okay, we can go ahead and dump it over your head. Like, I got receivers that can do that. Then if you want to sit there and play with the pass game, hand the ball off or run it with the QB. Like, we got multiple QBs that can do their job.
Man, you ripped off so many yards last year. I'm surprised you sit that long, right? I expect you to start running because that's every time I saw you last year, you were just out in the clear running. So you ripped off some great games, and the offensive coordinator thing I wanted to follow up with that. Obviously, he's a fan of yours after watching tape. The things he's called you the bell cow, and the fact that you need more carries. What does that do to you?
It just it boosts my confidence just a little bit because coming in, sharing the backfield, it was like, okay, like I got another running back that I'm comparing myself to. Now that he's saying that I need to get more carries, it's like, okay, 10 times higher. Like, now I'm that guy. Now I need to step up and prove everybody that I'm that guy and get myself out there.
We know that the offensive line was awesome. You have 2 first-round picks. And so, I've heard a little talk, well, we'll have to see how that offensive line goes, and thinking, well, maybe that impacts the running game. Well, now, if you roll out another 1,000-yard season, you've proven yourself, and you put yourself in the position to go on to the NFL. How much does that ignite your engine a little bit and your fire to know, hey, the offensive line was really good, and those guys were great players, but you're going to get your yardage no matter who's up there.
Yes, sir. Like, going there, it was a blessing having them last year. But people, overlooked me, I felt like, a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Saying that, he's only getting this much yards just because of O-lineman. This year, the O-lineman is still great. I stick by their side and do everything. But it's time to prove myself, this is what I do on a normal basis.
Right.
I just do it.
It's your time now.
Yes.
Wayshawn, thanks for coming by, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Great conversation, great stuff. Good luck this upcoming season. There he is, Wayshawn Parker, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, slipping into that chair and putting the
Mr. Personality
headset on.
Personality.
Always smiling.
Devon Dampier, how are you, sir?
Good, y'all. How y'all doing?
Doing well, doing
we
well.
go.
Hey, when did you really feel comfortable last year? Was it right out of the gate, or did it take a few games to really feel like, okay, I got this?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, like after Wyoming, that was like, okay, like we're good the first 3 games. Like that was like okay, like we're settled in, kind of we're that team. And then, we ran into Tech. That game went south for us, but it was kind of like a wake-up call for me. I felt like that was like, okay, I know where I need to get. I know where I need to get to. I need to be able to play against a good team in the Big 12 and, be able to put up points and stuff like that. And I think that was like a humbling experience for me to, feel that. And that's kind of feeling I never wanted the rest of the season. So I would say after that, definitely felt like I was comfortable, kicked in. Film watching became more relevant on the field, just stuff like that. Just got more comfortable, no doubt.
I'm always impressed with the way you handle yourself, even in the losses. It's like you were never down. You may have been even, but you're usually up. How do you explain that? Because I've been doing this for a long time, and just super impressed with your disposition.
Yeah, I think, just growing up watching NFL games, those are the guys that make those comebacks, the crazy comebacks. You always see it, and, they always get asked about it. And the way they answer is how I envision myself, when we get in games like that. When they're down, the quarterback's got to be the guy that his body language shows that, he still believes in his team. And he also wants his team to look at him and know, we're fine. As long as Devon's up, as long as our quarterback, who we consider our leader, is uplifting and he believes that we can go win this game, why shouldn't I? So just to give that energy, let the guys feel that, I think that's important to when games are going south for you, that there's always the north that we've been practicing all this time, that we're going to see that.
How do you and Bird anticipate working together? Because I got to imagine Kevin McGivern's got some stuff up his sleeve.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, I think Bird will turn into like our all-around kind of player. You'll see Bird everywhere, slot, running back, switcheroo, quarterback stuff. And, he'll just kind of be that literally athlete, go down as athlete, this year. And then, after my time, Bird knows that the quarterback position is for him to grab and, be that guy. So that's kind of how it is going into this year.
Your bowl game, you look so comfortable out there. The feeling coming out of that and obviously stayed. Is it obviously, a day and age where everybody's running. When anything comes up hard. You could have run, but why'd you stay?
Man, I would say Scalley has a lot to do with that, no doubt. Switch of a head coach, and I enjoyed Witt as a man, and just to have that change and losing my OC as well. Man, Scalley made it known that he had belief in me, before I came here. He saw me play in New Mexico. He was a big part of, why I ended up being at Utah. He honestly had tremendous trust in my abilities. So to hear that from, your future head coach, to know he had that belief, he made extra efforts to make sure he talked to me. And, those things don't go unnoticed for me. And, man, felt safe to, be at Utah another year.
Yeah, it makes sense for the successes you had. And I second what Tim said. I think the best of Devon Dampier was on display in Las Vegas against Nebraska. You were just sensational. You kept it up this year. It's like, wow, you guys are going to have a phenomenal season. There's no doubt about it. But Jason Beck isn't there anymore, and you had him at New Mexico. And obviously you had that package. You came together, and so you guys were able to hit the ground running. Well, now you've been a starting quarterback for a couple years. You get a new OC. If I'm him, I'm just tailoring my offense to you, and obviously Bird also. I don't know that the transition needs to be that difficult, so I'm assuming it's not going to be.
Yeah, correct. That was a huge part of me staying also. Scalley made it known to me what type of OC he wanted, and someone that tailors to his quarterback first and then goes from there. And, Coach McGivern made that known that he loved my abilities. He would make sure I felt comfortable every time I'm out there on that field. Whatever plays, whatever flows, whatever fits my skill set, he won't make me play outside of that. And just to hear that from the beginning and then you get in the spring ball, and, that is how he goes about it. Gives me full trust out there, full authority, and, man, it makes me play very comfortable. So just the fact that, he kind of rolls the same way as Beck, just to start off with the quarterback and expand from there, it definitely feels very similar.
Well, we'd love to talk to you all day, but we're getting the wrap-up sign, so I know you got a bunch of people
hey, if I can come back, I will.
Let's do it. Let's do it,
Can I
man.
have that necklace? I mean, it looks really, really cool. I like it.
Maybe I'll buy you one.
Okay, put my initials on that.
There he is, Devon Dampier, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
College football is nearly here, and we're blowing out the budget on our coverage of the teams you can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yeah, we got the she's going to give
all
us
in
the
red.
2
We
minute.
know where to look for sure there, man.
Morgan Scalley joining us, former radio host here on 97.5.
Red and Blue Show. Let's go.
He's one of our own, man.
Play the sounder.
If Morgan can do it, I know there's a chance for me.
That's so true.
How you doing,
You
by
can
the
do
way?
anything. I'm the
anything
poster
you say
child for,
reminds
hey, you can do anything. If this guy can be successful, you can do it too.
Oh, man. You enjoying making the rounds? I know you're not, really, but at least we get you right out of the gate instead of, interview number 25 when you're running on fumes.
Hey, priorities, right?
I know.
Priorities. This is the crew
Yeah.
right here.
I'm wondering, we've known you for so dang long, right? And we know about you and you know us and all that stuff. Has it yet, or maybe not yet, been a time where the enormity of it all has been something that you've fully grasped? Because you had a lot of people that you're responsible for, but now you got everybody. And there's really nothing like a football coach at the college level, the D1, the amount of people that essentially you're responsible for.
Right. And honestly, I'm so grateful that it got thrown on me by surprise for the bowl game. It got thrown at there. You're into it, and you're responsible for these guys and your staff, and in Las Vegas, where you're trying to keep kids out of trouble and making sure that they make bed check, and all of a sudden you're thinking about the staff hires and all the craziness that was going on during that time. So I'm grateful that it was kind of like baptism by fire, bam. But honestly, I've kind of been preparing for it along the way,
right?
So it hasn't been too big of a deal.
A lot of steps.
Yeah, no question.
Your journey has been awesome. I saw you last night, talked to you, had the opportunity to coach myself for a long time, and never made that move. So I know there's a lot of people that know of you and appreciate what you've done in your journey, and B, are really excited for it to unfold. What's the thing you're looking forward to most in terms of the upcoming season?
I just want to, people are asking, what are your anticipations? What are your goals? I want to see the culture show up on the field. That's what I'm excited for. And I'm following, arguably the greatest Utah coach of all time, and Kyle Whittingham. And, it's like, hey, what are you going to do different? I'm like, it's the same recipe to win. It's maybe you're preparing the meal a little bit differently. It's how you're preparing it. It's making sure that I'm true to myself. But I'm really excited, particularly for the guys in the program that really not a lot of people know about quite yet. Yeah, every year there's guys that come along.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple years ago you lose Keanu Tanabasa, you lose Cam at the corner spot, and it's like, who's going to step up? Who's going to be that guy? And lo and behold, you get John Henry Daly that comes in and does an unbelievable job, and Jonah Le'e and some of these guys that people really didn't know about. And that's our job as coaches, is to recruit, develop, manage, and so I'm excited for these guys that are about to show their face this season.
You've had, obviously the press conferences, the fundraising, the public appearances, everything that goes along with being a head coach, stuff that, you're not necessarily signed up for, but it's part of the job. How excited are you to just actually get a whistle, get out on the field, start fall camp, and start playing games on Saturday and move past all this other bureaucratic stuff you have to do?
Well, that's what I miss the most is having a position group, having guys to teach. And I'll go around during practice and make sure that I'm continuing to do that. But I miss having a position group. I love being on the offensive side. With Kevin being like, yeah, let's screw with Swan here. Here's how you can screw with our defense, and seeing what they think. I've always wanted that. I think honestly, like in football, I think having a year where all you do is just go learn. I wish I had a year of just going and
like being sabbatical.
Just in a different offensive coordinator's room each week. And how do they prepare, and what are they looking at, and what are they teaching their quarterbacks? I continue to be a student of the game. There's so much to learn in this game, and so many good coaches out there. And I think you just have to have that mindset that you never have the answers, always looking for ways to improve. And I'm enjoying that side of things is being with the offense a little bit more.
On that subject, you have an opportunity to have an imprint. I got to know several of the offensive coordinators, I should say, offensive coordinators. And, the one thing in common, for better or worse, the philosophy was protect the defense. All right? Take that. And there was a lot of success there, so I'm not criticizing it.
Right.
But I'm just saying what they told me. And basically now you have an opportunity to make your imprint. I'm not saying you're going to call the plays and whatnot. You've got the offensive people. But what is going to be your philosophy offensively? Because a lot of fans are wondering, well, will they open it up more?
I gotcha. I've told people this. I want to be explosive offense no matter what that looks like. Now, having said that, you have to be physical. If you are not physical, this game will exploit you. You'll be found out at the highest levels. You may get by beating teams that are inferior physically, athletically, but ultimately when good plays good and you're playing dudes, you'll get exposed if you're not physical. And you have to have a complete team to do that. Meaning it's tough to be a physical defense. It's tough to be a physical defense if all you're seeing every single week is a spread offense that doesn't shift. They don't motion. They don't run the ball. They don't run gap scheme. Like, you have to have complementary football. We had that with Andy, right? We had that with Jason. And so an offense that when you practice every day, you're getting physical. And I think it's just tough for those teams that don't present that team aspect of football.
The physical side has always kind of been the staple. I mean, you talk about your culture on the field. What does that look like? Over time, but culture on the field, what does that mean? Unpack that.
Yeah, so our culture, if you ask anyone in our building, is relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks. Relentless in the way you pursue the ball. Relentless in the way you pursue anything. Smart, situationally intelligent, understanding that an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator for that matter, they're different in different situations, throughout a game. A 2-minute situation versus a 4-minute situation, backed up, red zone. All these situations present themselves in a game, and your players need to understand those situations at an elite level. So that's got to show up on the field, right? Nasty is simply a no excuses mentality. Own your role. Don't point fingers, attack the problem. That's the ball, that's the goal line, whatever it is, attack. And then ball hawks, I think it's 22 years now we've had a pick six. So on the offense, that's protecting the ball, and on the defense, that's getting it back to the offense. The ball's meant for us to have.
So throughout the years, everybody just assumes it's the Kyle Whittingham defense, but there's been different iterations of it. Kalani, from John Peace to you. What is your message to Colton Swan? Because the foundation's in place, but you also want him to put his fingerprints on that.
Oh, no question. Go get it, cowboy.
Literally,
that's my guy. Exactly. Yeah, he's still ropes. He team ropes.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's
take
been
the boy out of Jerome. You can't take Jerome out of the guy.
Yeah, and he's given me so much in terms of ideas, and it's his time. Kyle was very good to me in the sense that he was always a sounding board, but he let me do what I wanted to do. The first couple years he was there in my ear, but after that, he kind of just let me roll. And so you bet it is Fred Whittingham, it is Kyle Whittingham, base, defense, and ultimately we've just tried to improve each year. A little wrinkle here, wrinkle there, but so much of good football is fundamentals.
It's funny you say that, Morgan, about Fred Whittingham. Cully Papingan, I don't know how much you know him. He's obviously the defensive coordinator at BYU. Well, I covered him as a player when I was a newspaper guy, so I've known him for many years, and I'm talking to him after he gets the gig, and he references Fred Whittingham because it was taught to Kyle, it was taught to Kalani, it was taught to Gary Anderson. Now those are two guys. Where are they? They're down there. Yeah. So it's like
the influence is huge, right? It's huge, and so much credit to that family, and it will continue to be seen, that influence throughout the years.
That's just amazing.
It really is, considering the longevity and the history there. Can't be more fired up for you. Excited. I will fully admit, and I say this over and over, I am not unbiased when it comes to you.
I don't think anybody. I think that's the cool part.
You're just a good human being, and can't thank you enough for hanging out with us. And go get it, man.
I just appreciate you not sharing all the dirty, horrible stories about Scalley. And
I got one.
That's the next segment, Morgan. We wouldn't do that in front of you.
Not in front of me, at least.
Yeah.
Right? Not in front of me.
One.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's not really bad, but we used to be able to have more access to practice, and we're in the stadium one day, and you got furious, man, and you just cut loose. And the funny thing is that it went stone silent. Oh, Morgan Scalley, wow, he is just irate, and you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. And I'm sure you don't even remember it. And plus, it's echoing because there's not that many people in there, right? And I'm just wondering how you're going to be disposition-wise now that you're the leader, because everybody's eyes are going to be on you.
It's been different. It really has been different. As a defensive coordinator, it is so much about passion and energy.
Yeah.
And your guys seeing you, and whereas as a head coach, I'm all about the how we're doing things. Is the culture showing up? So I'm still competitive as all get out. You're still going to hear me. Mm-hmm. It's just it's a different role, and so it doesn't require as much of that.
Yeah. I'm going to miss that.
Well, speaking of somebody that's going to get livid, Nicole's going to come down on us.
She's going to get, okay.
Yeah,
let's go.
She about to PK.
You guys
out
are awesome.
Right
there.
Love you,
best, man.
Good luck. Have a great day.
Thanks. We'll see you. There he is, Morgan Scalley, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Adventures don't always go as planned. One minute you're cruising in your RV, the next your tire hits a massive pothole. Progressive is ready for you when the unexpected hits, with excellent claim service for your boat, RV, and motorcycle. Plus, optional coverage like roadside assistance and on-the-water towing. Visit Progressive.com and make sure your next adventure is unforgettable for the right reasons. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage is subject to policy terms and limits.
College football is nearly here, and we're blowing out the budget on our coverage of the teams you can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Joining us now, it's Mark Harlan,
Mark, how are you?
athletic director at the University of Utah. A lot of things to talk about, but first off, one of the bigger storylines is a switch in apparel. What's the process in making that switch? Because I know that's not an easy thing to after a long time with Under Armour.
Yeah, Under Armour has been a terrific partner, for 17 years. And I think before we were scattered, in different brands. So I really, this last year, I started talking to Kevin Plank about, what do we do in the future as the deal was going. He wanted to renew right away, which was great. It's not as easy as it once was to get these deals. They've tightened up a little bit. But I asked him for consideration to let's go out early and talk to the others. I thought we owed it. We had new coaches. We got our new company, Crimson Brand Partners. We got a lot of different things cooking. And he was like, okay, go check it out. The contract was restrictive, so he had to allow that. And we went out there and we learned a lot. we talked to all of them. They were all interested, and Adidas kind of rose above everybody. For a couple different reasons. One, just the way they're going to kind of activate their brand with our brand. Their president came down, went through our bookstore. Here he is getting ready for all the World Cup stuff, but he was taking all the time. He wanted to walk campus, and big golfer, by the way, PK.
Oh, nice.
So
that's not a deal
so
breaker.
we'll catch you on your Wednesday matches, whatever you guys talk about.
Tuesday.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Tuesday. So it just it just came down to really one big difference for me, which was their NIL programming, quite candidly. They have an all-student-athlete approach to it, not just the big names, and very innovative. And when I talked to Graham at ASU and Travis at Kansas, it was real. It wasn't just something on paper. So,
we are Adidas.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, that's right. So, we went back to Under Armour, and we had a tough conversation, but we agreed we're going to have a great year. In our final go around with all our sports, and we'll switch over next July 1st. We're really looking forward to it.
Crazy impressed with the athletes that have come through today. We had a great interview just recently with Dampier and Holtzclaw, who went back and represented Congress. Right. But the topic of conversation is a new coach, and we had Morgan on first thing. And I think the last, Holtzclaw and Dampier said it best, like, they invested in him, like them That's being right. here. They could have run. Talk about Morgan Scalley, and I know you probably already see what I see in terms of what he's going to be, but that is the topic. Can Utah continue to be Utah with a new coach?
Yeah, Morgan's so prepared. It's one thing to say it, and then it's one thing to see it. Like I get to watch. I mean, from the moment I called him on the 26th and I said, "Hey, man, you want to coach this game?" We've had a little change in some calls I was on earlier in the morning, and he's like, "Let's go." And from that moment on, it's been let's go. It's like he imagined a roadmap that was going to go all these different directions, and so he's planned for everything. Because as soon as we got back to campus, then we're dealing with the portal, and we that portal got a little bit more spicy than maybe we predicted, and managing that, keeping a level head, zig and zagging, and then that leads into spring football and the energy on the practice field. And I think the one thing that I've really enjoyed is, and it's it's true. I don't think this is any secret. There's been kind of a defensive-offensive approach at Utah for a long time, and to watch the team all come together under some of the leadership training that Morgan's doing for all of them, and kind of being one a little bit more than we've been, I think will be really helpful in certain situations as we move forward. But the staff he brought in, I can go on and on. He's prepared. He's ready. And, what a rare opportunity for an athletic director to work with somebody up close for 7 years and see it. And I know, I knew he was ready. Sometimes you meet these guys and you hire them in 6 days. That's just the way college football works in basketball. But not here. So he's ready to roll, and we had a ball yesterday just flying out talking about there's just this enthusiasm that comes out. I'm sure you guys, I listened to it this morning.
No doubt.
And it's special, and the guys feel it. The guys feel it, and that's really important.
Yeah, I had an idea that it was coming on the 26th, and we all thought that was going to be an off day. Turns out it wasn't, which is fine.
Sorry about that.
No.
Especially to you.
I just pushed it back. I was down south.
At least it wasn't the 25th.
Even better. Yeah.
Almost was.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. But going forward, and that's what we have to do for you, there's so much pressure always on football and so much attention. It just floats and carries everything. And now it's controversial, Mark, that he left, speaking to Kyle, obviously, and you're a guy that I can speak frankly to because you're going to acknowledge it and not pretend it doesn't exist. And I think we have that type of relationship. And so with that in mind, you're sort of now tied at the hip of Morgan Scalley because he's your guy and you're thought of that it's making the move. But there's always pressure. Do you feel it anymore? Because even no matter if Joe Blow was coaching there, it would still be a ton of pressure because of what Utah football has become.
Well, I appreciate that relationship we have. I just know at the ASU, I just got to talk a little slower. So I'll talk slow in my answer to this. That's a use.
Thank you so much for that.
I'm appreciative that your wife a few years back bought you a thesaurus so you could actually use words that have more than one syllable.
No, spell thesaurus. What was your question again?
He thinks that's a dinosaur.
Well, because he is. No. Okay. Let's keep going. No, listen, there's pressure. I think any athletic director feels pressure. I know the outside likes to talk about it's your guy because you hired him.
Right.
And
You've heard all that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get that. And when I was at South Florida, it was the same thing. When I hired Charlie Strong, it's your guy, I guess I've never operated that way. I mean, I had a great relationship with Whit. We certainly had some disagreements along the way, like every athletic director and football coach. I mean, I don't know if anybody, if there's not some tension there, you're probably not doing it the right way, or we're not pushing each other the right way. We certainly at the end just couldn't figure out a way to keep him another year, and we tried, and it is what it is. It's pretty public and all that other.
Yeah.
I wish him the absolute best. I mean, I really do. And I just talked to Doug Elisaya the other day. I mean, these are some really good people. So. But, I don't look at it that way. I look at the fact that we have a great structure that he left, that Morgan was trained in, and I feel like we have a great roster, and I feel like the work has been intense, and that's all you can really ask for. So I know that that's a fair question. I don't feel anything different. There's always a sense of anxiety. Whenever I'm at media day, whatever team that I've been around, because you see everybody else apparently has been lifting weights too.
Yeah. There you go.
And and plotting and planning. I talked to a lot of coaches here today, so I think there's always a little bit of that. But I'm being honest when I say whether it was Alex's first year or Craig's first year, you don't feel much differently. You just want to make sure you're continuing to support them so that they can have the best kind of success.
And I think the good thing for you guys is, at least from my projection, the success I think will come over the next September, October, November, and all that stuff. I think you're going to have a good team.
Well, I was thinking about – I've talked to Morgan about pressure, right? Does he feel – I mean, you can imagine he just is so excited and ready. I just don't sense it. I think it's always good for us always to feel pressure. You guys got pressure on ratings. And there's just things that are there.
Well, those guys do.
Yeah, those guys.
His contract's, much different than ours, Mark.
Guaranteed, whether it's a 0 or a 10 or whatever.
I just love that you put him in his spot. Yeah, that's what I love.
Again. People thinking they'll hear that, he hates PK, but they don't know that's not the truth.
It's not the way it is.
Yeah, we know it because he's done that.
What's your partner? After I interrupted him on our last interview, I saw him the next day at McBride's golf tournament.
He
goes, I'm sorry. I go, well, I'm sorry. But everyone thinks we hate each other.
I know. He told me about that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
When you the private equity thing, I think the influx of money, I think sometimes may feel like donors are like, all right, you guys are good.
Right.
There's no such thing as a plateau in this day and age.
That's right.
Ever in college athletics, but especially in this day and age. That certainly is helpful, but certainly you can't say, okay, you guys are off the hook now, because fundraising is always such a huge issue in college athletics.
Yeah, we certainly knew when we created Crimson Brand Partners, and by the way, they're up and running and hiring people. We think it's going to get to 70 before the football season. They're really cooking, and it's exciting to watch them and work with them, and it's going to be great. We look forward to updating everybody as we try different things. But you hit on something that was a concern when I first was diving into this a few years ago is, would donors feel that? And so we've been really clear with certainly our top families and our top people about the fact that, this is operational money that's going to help us move forward and retain and all that. But we still have a scholarship bill that is critical. We added 30 scholarships in the program last year, which we haven't said enough about. That's part of the new rules where it's not scholarship, restrictions anymore. There's just roster restrictions. So we're asking our donors to fund that. We've got 5 people on our mental health team now, which I think have been critical to us having top 5 graduation rates in the country at University of Utah. So we need that privately supported, quite candidly. And so we're going to be launching a campaign on that, and it's just education, talking to people, right? Because people see private equity and they gag, right? So we really got to make sure people understand what we're doing there, and then still the importance of the Crimson Club. We finished the year, I think, with close to 13,000 donors, the highest we've ever had, and we need to make sure that number continues to rise.
I know there were some knee-jerk radio guys that were talking about that deal, right, Paul? I talked to Paul one day. Maybe we had said a little too much, and you know what? It was exactly that. Probably don't have all the facts, but one thing I do love is that it's operating cash to generate cash.
Right.
I mean, that's really the message, or that's really the use of that.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, too, it's as simple as just trying to get better. We've had outside companies partner with us for years. Learfields, they're called, and others, and we've had legends, ironically owned by the Cowboys, doing our outbound ticket sales. 11 employees that have been on campus for years. Those groups are now vacating, and this group comes in, and so operationally, it's really going to allow us to improve both in fan experience because we're investing more, quite candidly, to your point.
Right.
and people and in things. It's not, you're not going to walk in the first football game now and see everything different. We got a lot of work to do. I mean, we'll have those fancy lights that BYU has. Everybody gives me all the grief. I get so much grief on that. Harlan, where's the red lights? Like, I don't know. But we got them now.
Where's our drones?
As long as we push the right button. Yeah, where's our drones? We had that at baseball. We'll have some of that stuff that they'll see. But it's just going to allow us, like, the big thing that President Randall did and the trustees is they listened, because businesses now, especially with Ryan and everything he's doing downtown with his two incredible teams, they create these corporate partnerships that are, way beyond a sign. They're true partners. That's what we're doing. And the whole campus is involved now. So now we can go out and speak to a big-time place, and we can talk about being involved with the whole university, not just – and we're already seeing some success. We had a great one this week that worked out. That's going to be kind of where we are. But I get it. People want to know, what are you doing with this billions and billions? I mean, I've heard all these different numbers, and I know everyone wants to know, but that's there for us to grow. That's there for us to help until we get above the line, right? We have deficits now. Everybody deficits.
Does, yeah.
And it's just – so we'll be able to do that. And then lastly, just what they're going to do for us in NIL is just a whole different – the above rev share number, and we're going to start seeing a lot of our athletes in these all-campus deals. It's going to be really exciting.
I am curious to know how it works in terms of what your relationship is with them, and who has final say over staffing and
right.
even the details of that.
Well, Matt Webb, who we'll get on your guys' show, he's here now. He's the president. He's the former SVP for the Saints and for the Pelicans. He's terrific. He and I meet every Monday morning. We go through everything they're working on, thinking about. We got some CapEx in this deal. We're going to do some improvements to the stadium and other things. We work on all that. And so is that New York?
Yeah.
Is that PK?
PK is like
we can't take this.
You can turn your phone off.
It's a good song, though.
I didn't even know.
It could have been worse on his phone.
The worst is, by the way, Ron McBride, who does a show with us every Friday, he's got this like air horn from World War II.
Yeah. I love when he's on. I listen every time.
That's in honor of my parents. They're gone now, and they like Frank Sinatra.
See what he just did there.
Yeah,
redirected to make us all feel bad.
And you get up and walk away, and we get to sit here for a couple more hours.
Yeah. I just want to make some people don't think I really am a human being, and I have emotions.
No, you are. You're real.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to come down in.
You're a real something.
You're not AI yet. So
you got
to
to come get in studio with us when we get back home sometime.
No, I'd love to do that. But just closing on that thought, I'm the chairman of the board.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah, that's why I thought that's why you're playing that. I'm chair of the board, and so obviously that's just that, and the university has governance rights on everything. So and all stuff. So if they bring us a dumb sponsor, we'll say no, we're not doing that. I mean, that's silly, but they won't. Yeah. But so I still have full say, as you'd expect, for all the coaching, all the personnel, all that. But I've interviewed all the people he's bringing in, and if I didn't like one, I told him. If I liked him, I told him, right? I mean, it's a very collaborative process, because if we're not collaborative, we're not going to get the lift that we need.
Have you found that Morgan Scalley can actually help you in the fundraising portion? Because I relate it to when Kalani went from Oregon State to BYU, right? Lavelle Edwards retired. They have two coaches. One was very successful, the other not so much. But neither of them were so-called BYU guys, right? Kalani brought back everything, and I was out of town, so I couldn't come to the press conference for Scalley, or else I would have been there. But the thing that when he got done, he walked right over to Ron McBride.
Yeah.
Right, and Ron McBride is a true Utah guy.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering if that not necessarily rejuvenates, but just energizes it to a higher level, because Scalley, out of everybody on the planet, there's no more of a Utah guy than Morgan Scalley.
Yeah, Morgan, it's an authentic approach he has with donors. He's got such incredible relationship. He's been doing chalk talks with our donors for years. We don't really talk about it much, but he'll bring a group in and he'll kind of talk about what things he's thinking about. He's done that forever. He's always telling me, Mark, let's go see somebody. He works with Matt Webb. He told Matt, let's go see some companies. He already wants to meet the monster people. He's, that's just kind of in his personality. He's a very outgoing way about him. We had a donor event at my house a couple weeks ago, and Morgan was there and just gave an incredible talk. it's just when someone's very authentic and talking about something they're passionate about, it's pretty powerful. So people lean in, and yeah, we're getting a lot of support. It's pretty exciting.
What's on the playlist? What's your music go-to?
It's funny. I'm on an 80s kick right now.
I live there, bro.
Nothing wrong with
that.
that.
Stuck.
I don't.
Bananarama? Devo?
A couple Bananarama
Little
songs.
hazy
I
shade
roll
of
it
Are
on
you more of a rocker? Like,
yeah, I mean, I roll. I love the Eagles. That's I love. But when I'm out running in the morning now, I just got the 80s mix.
And it's just that
and
80s.
You think about these memories,
Tina Turner will come on to, Phil Collins. For Cars.
Well, Phil Collins. Yeah.
He was unbelievable in the
Yeah.
80s, just one after the other.
So, yeah, that whole deal. I mean, I'm kind of, we just know what his playlist is. He just played a Again, sorry about your parents.
Honor my parents.
My.
Lord.
You know what that reminded me of?
My mom?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to have to miss a game today, my mom,
The mother was sick for 25 years.
I do a really
man.
good Majerus, Mark.
I imagine you do.
Okay.
Well, Mark, we appreciate it.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for coming
much.
by.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ever notice how life's best stories don't happen in your living room? They happen on the open road, out on the water, or parked under the stars. At Progressive, they get that you want to focus on the experience, not worry about the what-ifs. That's why they offer quality insurance designed for your ride, whether that's a boat, RV, or motorcycle. Adventure with confidence. Visit Progressive.com and see how easy it is to protect your favorite way to get away. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in D.C. Prices vary based on how you buy.